Hello, beautiful being. Welcome to In Her Dreams and welcome to your reading. I am so grateful that you're taking time to tune in to see what messages are flowing in from Spirit for you. Ashe. Thank you, Divine. I heard love is in the air. Love is in the air. I can feel it. Love is in the air. Huh? Let's see what's coming through. We'll start with the archetypes deck. Thank you, Divine. What message is coming through for this beautiful being? Healer. You have the heart of a healer. You also have the mind of a healer. Because whatever healing work you do, it requires a mind-heart connection. That's what I'm getting. A mind-heart connection where you make logical choices with your mind or decisions with your mind that also align with your beautiful divine heart space. So your heart and your mind move in tandem with one another in a very divine way. Okay? Also, I'm getting that there's a healing love that either you have manifested or you are manifesting this. There's a lover who wishes to serve you in a sweet, loving way. They want to serve you positive vibes, happiness, joy, peace. I'm getting the word serve because it's here. It says passion to serve others by repairing the body, mind, and spirit, ability to help transform pain into healing. There's a person that you are manifesting or who is in your life who wishes to send healing energy to you. So this love has a healing effect on you. And as we know, even on our individual path, healing is not always easy, is it? We know that. We know it's not always easy, but it is always worth the work that we do because it facilitates our growth. It allows us to grow. And so that's what's coming through, is that you'll recognize this love relationship because even though it might not always be easy or smooth sailing, it's always helping you to grow. It's not tearing you down. It's not taking you further away from yourself. You know that you're in a healthy connection, a healthy love connection with someone when you are aligning more and more with your true path, with your dreams. Are you manifesting your dreams? Are you supported in that? Okay. There's a healing love. Okay, they said that's it. They said go here. Okay. What's coming through, Spirit? I don't know. It's kind of not the order I expected. Paradise. Happiness, expansion, joy, playfulness, oneness, enjoying each other. Yeah. Kisses, unconditionally loving, giving and receiving affection, falling in love. And cassette, outdated thinking, conditioning, replaying events, over in your head. So there could be something in this love connection that it feels like stagnant energy. It feels like old energy. You know what I'm seeing is like a modern day scene, like on the streets of New York or something like that, where it's the hustle and bustle. And then you see like someone from like the 1850s walking down the street, you know, and it's like, where'd they come from? You know, it just feels like, but that's what's going on in this relationship. It's like very beautiful, in sync connection. Things are moving, you know, like I'm seeing traffic flowing and just the right timing, and all the lights are working and everything's going really well. People are on their way to wherever they gotta go. And then there's like these people from a whole other era. And so it feels like there's a situation that perhaps, just like this cassette card, it keeps getting replayed over and over again. And it just doesn't belong anymore. There's like this old narrative, this old story that perhaps still causes some, perhaps pain. But I'm getting that there's been a lot of healing around this, but it's something about something that doesn't belong. So let's dig a little bit. Let's see what's going on here. Where are we going, Spirit? Okay, I said this one. Astro persona. Okay, Divine, what's going on in this relationship that's causing outdated thinking, or this outdated event that keeps coming to mind or keeps getting replayed? Okay, so there's a cooperative energy here. Look at this. This is beautiful love energy. Okay, Jupiter in the 7th house, Libra, I balance. Oh, Libra energy. We know that's good for love. Determined, diplomatic, a rich and beautiful partner. Okay, now there are different ways to be rich, you know. I'm seeing here though multiple marriages. There could be something about, oh, it says you attract friends and lovers easily. So there could be something here about someone attracting people to them easily. You know, Libra energy is very charming. Now that doesn't have to be the sun sign of you or your person, but it just feels like that's what's at play here, where there's this attraction, this charisma, this ease of being able to talk with people and maybe attract people towards them. There could be this sort of flirtatious vibe. It could be innocent, but it could be also something that has caused problems in the relationship. Also with multiple marriages, there could be lingering people from a previous relationship. Maybe there are children involved, and that's caused some, I'm hearing chaos, confusion. Self-sacrificing, service to others. Okay, there could be someone here who gives their time and energy more than they should, okay, to others. This could be to a parent, to an in-law, okay. It feels like there could be someone here who is readily available to other people to help them. And perhaps that's been a source of confusion or arguments, okay? Sort of a topic of discussion that has turned into arguments, okay? curious, easygoing, spiritual healer. So I get that there is definitely in this partnership, there's healing energy from both people. It feels like that. It feels like it comes through very differently. So one person might be more attentive to others and giving of themselves. They give of their time. They give of their energy. They may be more service oriented, where they like to show their love by doing things for people. That could be their love language, acts of service. And someone else could be a bit more mystical, because I'm seeing that here where they're working with energy, okay? But it feels like both people in this pair are, first of all, able to give and show love, okay? Give and receive love. And also, you both have healing energy, but you share your healing energy in very different ways, okay? What's this? Because it feels like that's sticking out. Crisis of personal belief systems. Yeah, and this is Uranus energy. Uranus in the 9th house. Sagittarius, I know. Yeah, there might be somebody here who feels like they know the way. Like they're going to show you the way. There could be somebody here who they really feel very confident about their way of doing things. May also dogmatically hold on to belief systems to the point of traumatizing others. Okay, so what I'm getting here is like your person might be a bit stubborn, okay? They might, hold on, I'm seeing like a pit bull, like when they lock their jaw. And I've never really seen that, but I've heard that it happens, it can happen. But that's what I'm seeing, is that like they're so set in their ways that when they have an idea or thought or belief, it's very hard for them to think outside of what it is that they've already determined to be true. Now, you and your person could have this sort of stubbornness, which stubbornness is not inherently bad, okay? It just depends on how that stubbornness plays out when you're together and in your decision making. There could be within one of you, I feel like perhaps you've wanted your person to be more able to see your point of view of things, but they might also feel like they want you to see things from their point of view, okay? What else is coming through from this deck, Spirit? I'm gonna go to a love deck. Impressionable. Goes with the flow. Charming. Yeah. So what I'm getting here is that there's somebody here. I feel like your person could have people-pleasing tendencies. I'm getting that they could be very much, or this could be you, okay? But could be very comfortable around other people. And perhaps their involvement with other people has, like their extroversion, okay, has stirred up either controversy or feelings of like difficulty in understanding each other and your motivation for doing things. But it's your person has good intentions, you have good intentions. That's what it feels like. It feels like there's good intentions on both ends, but the way that you communicate with people, the way that you show your love and your sense of caring to people is very, very different. That's what it feels like. This stayed down there. Okay, heartbroken. Yeah, it's got some ash on there. It's got my incense ash. So yeah, there's definitely a feeling of heaviness here. Yeah, it says deeply hurt, sad, separation, breakup, feeling lost, grieving, or mourning. So there could be like so much of, I'm seeing a list. Like there's a list of things that have happened between you where there's been a lack of understanding, a lack of like, you're very firm in your opinion of how things should be done. And so is your person, and neither person is trying to hurt the other, But it almost might feel like, well, how could they not be trying to hurt me? Because if I did that to somebody, I would feel like I'm hurting them. But that's a difference in the personalities. That's a difference in how you share energy with people and the world. Yeah. Let's go to, we're going to do some curiosity and some tangled love. Or maybe love vibes. Yeah, let's do love vibes. And tangled love. But they're guiding me here to this deck first before we get into the love deck. What's coming through for this situation? Okay, talisman and time. So there's something that will be opened up and understood in time. Patience is definitely coming through. Okay, and I just want to put this as a disclaimer. I know that some people are like, I'm done. But that does not seem to be where this reading is going. Okay? It feels like Divine is definitely bringing through guidance as to how to understand this situation. So if you are in a love relationship and you're done, I get it. But Divine is taking this deeper. Okay? So you got to know when it's your reading. Okay? I just want to put that out there. But yeah, there's something that will be understood or unlocked. It's like a mystery as to how the two of you really understand one another and your different love languages, your different ways of approaching the world. And also understanding that certain things are just to be respected. But I am getting this energy of like, okay, I understand I need to respect what you've said, but I need to understand it as well. I need to agree with it, and maybe there needs to be a compromise. It feels like that's coming from one of you. So in time, there is a lot of understanding that's unlocked here. Okay? And my eyes went right to heartbroken. So it feels like understanding something that has caused a lot of pain. Thank you, Divine. What needs to be understood about this love relationship? Soulmate bond. Okay, this is deep. This is a really deep bond. This is not something that... I was about to say something that gets tossed to the wind, you know? It's like... But also, when you have a deep soulmate bond, there are really big lessons that are meant to be learned. And a lot of times these are lessons that were attempted to be broken down and understood in a past life, and it just didn't happen. So here we are again with the same lesson that is supposed to be learned between the two of you. And I feel like that's one reason why that time card is there, is because these are soul level lessons. When you know, you just know. This soulmate connection is deep and real. This is that no explanation needed kind of love. You're naturally drawn to each other. Afraid to love. It's natural to guard your heart, but remember, every leap of faith is a chance for a beautiful thing. Yeah, and look, that's the second time we have that key there. So you have talisman, and then it's on that heart there as well. So there's something that needs to be unlocked here. And it is understanding. It's understanding that leads to trust, because there's something here from a long time ago, and either one of you or both of you, or yeah, that led to a fear of opening up to each other. It could also be something that happened within your relationship that at the time was maybe due to immaturity. Maybe you were a lot younger then. Maybe there was a lack of experience, you know. But it led to, like, it tapped into a fear that perhaps was there due to another experience that you had in your life. Okay? So there could be fears that are being reawakened in this relationship that are tapping into fears from either childhood or from a previous relationship. That card came through for multiple marriages, so it's possible that one of you has been married in the past, or you could have just had a painful relationship in the past or a painful experience with a lover in the past that is sort of reinforcing a deficit between the two of you. And it doesn't have to be a deficit, but it feels like that because it's something that it's where pain already was from before. You know what I'm saying? So it just hurts even more now. Thank you, Divine. Please clarify this afraid to love card. What shadows are reinforcing this fear? Huh, look at that, another heart. Possessive. Okay, holding on tight to prove someone's worth or fear of abandonment, okay? Demanding someone's attention and love without consideration of their own time and emotion. So there could be a feeling of possessiveness here. A fear of allowing someone to really be free, because maybe in that freedom, someone decides that there's someone else that they want to give their time and energy to. Okay, so this could come back to a sense of insecurity within oneself, where they feel afraid that someone is going to no longer want them, desire them, because they found something else. So it's better to hold on, to hold on, to hold on. And the question then is, well, what is it that this person who's afraid to give this person freedom, what is it that they're afraid of their lover no longer finding attractive about them? Because that's what it really feels like. Like, if they see someone else, they're gonna like this or that, or this or that about them better than they like me. Okay? You know what I'm saying? What I'm saying, what I'm seeing? I am seeing it. It feels like someone's afraid of allowing freedom to exist. Because if they're free, that might end in a feeling of rejection or abandonment. So perhaps that person has been abandoned or rejected before. And most humans have been, whether it was by a caregiver, in which case it's usually a very deep wound, or it could have been by a lover, which is also, depending on the amount of intimacy that occurred between them, it could be a very deep wound there as well. Okay. What else, Spirit, is causing this fear of loving, of allowing love to flow? Okay, escapist. So we have some maybe avoidant behavior here. Do they avoid thinking about or dealing with stressful situations because this is how they learn to cope with stress? Seeking distractions and relief from unpleasant realities, especially in the form of entertainment or fantasy. I don't want to say it, but corn is coming to mind. Corn. That could be a sensitive topic, okay? Perhaps someone feels like they don't want their lover to participate in that or to view that. And really, I mean, that's a very personal view on that. It just depends on what you're comfortable with and what you're not. But when it's an addiction, it's a problem no matter what. Okay? So, you know, certain couples are able to either watch it together, or they don't mind if their lover watches it, or they both might watch it separately or whatever. But if it is a situation where a person has to have it in order to experience extreme pleasure sexually, or if they are always watching it. You know, if ever there's a situation where it just makes that person feel uncomfortable, you have to know yourself, okay? And so there are situations like that that can interfere in a sexual relationship. But this could be anything. This could be anything that a person uses to escape. It could be a shopping addiction. It could be drinking. It could be gambling. It could be gaming. Whatever a person might use in order to avoid intimacy with their partner, that's something that's used to escape. And that is fearful avoidance. And the only reason why a person avoids intimacy in a relationship, if they're attracted to the person and if they are wanting to be in a relationship with them, but they still avoid communication with that person or intimacy with that person, unless communication is very like abusive or something like that, they should want that, right? It's natural to communicate and have intimacy in a relationship. So if they're avoiding it, it's usually because that person that's avoiding it is afraid of being rejected or abandoned. And the crazy thing is that the person who wants to communicate and wants to be intimate a lot of times gets labeled as needy. But they're not needy. They just want to maintain a relationship. It's the avoidant person who wrongly labels their partner as needy because they want to blame them for their inability to maintain intimacy or to communicate successfully with them. So if they're escaping, there is a reason why. And more than likely, it's because they did not receive the nurturing energy that they needed to, those healthy bonds with a caregiver, with a mother, or perhaps with a father. Usually it's with the mother, but in their childhood. And so they're so afraid of having that with their partner and then losing it. So anytime they start getting very close to someone, they'll either sabotage it and go do something else, or come in with a third party or something like that. It's very, very painful to a person who's expecting commitment and ongoing bonds with them, okay? Steals the limelight, having a strong desire to be noticed by others, therefore trying to outshine others at every opportunity. So that kind of came through with the charisma and the charm of the Libra energy that came through. Also, I'm getting like a Leo vibe here. It's a person who just naturally shines. They naturally look good. And this could be a source of like a trigger for a person's insecurity. If they feel insecure within themselves and they've got a partner who just commands attention, it would be problematic if this person is seeking attention because they're insecure, right? But if this is a person who's secure in themselves, they love themselves, but maybe they just like to dress nice. Maybe they have a really attractive physique. Maybe they have glowing skin and, you know, nice hair, pretty eyes, or whatever it is that they have. They just simply command attention. If their person is insecure about that, they need to improve themselves and their view of themselves. Because there's no reason, unless a person is just attention hungry and they're leaving the house begging for attention, looking like a thirst trap, then if that's not the case and they just glow and people like what they see when they look at them, then if their person is getting insecure about that or feeling insecure about that, that's not okay. Like, that means that that person has some work to do on themselves, okay? Oh, this one came out. Irresponsible, avoiding responsibilities because they fear that they'll disappoint others if they fail. I'm getting a lot of fear here. And so that really feels like what's at the heart of a lot of this avoidance, escapism, insecurity. It's like, it's fear. Fear of not being enough. Fear of not doing something right. So this right here is like, maybe you ask somebody to fix something, okay? Because you're doing something else, and you're taking care of another responsibility. So you ask them if they can handle fixing something. Well, if they don't fix it because they're afraid of not being able to do it right, they're afraid of being criticized, so they just don't do it. That's being irresponsible. But they're letting their fear and insecurity drive a wedge between them and their responsibilities, and that's not okay. What other fear is coming in between this pair, Divine? Overly critical. Criticizing others because of a perceived personal weakness. Pointing out their weaknesses and offering quote-unquote solutions to non-existent problems. Yeah, so that's kind of like what I was saying when the avoidant attachment style came through, where if a person is always running away, not wanting to bond or gain a sense of intimacy with their person because they're actually afraid of being rejected, but then they call their person needy. Oh, you're so needy. Why do you always want me around? I need space. I need space. It's great to have space, and people need space in a relationship if it's healthy, but space all the time, you know, that's not okay. There should be some time to bond. All right, so somebody who's like walking around with a magnifying glass in their mind, they're constantly looking for flaws or a reason to criticize someone, which goes back to their own sense of insecurity, because that's why people use destructive criticism. And that's the question. Is their criticism unsolicited? Are they just coming out the blue and telling you what you should change about yourself or whatever? And is it destructive? Does it hurt your feelings? Is it rude? Is it insensitive? You know? Especially coming from a lover. Like, you really got to be careful, because sometimes you just don't want to hear certain things. And some people do need their information sugar-coated, okay? The more and more we love ourselves, we get tougher. You know what I'm saying? Things don't hurt us as much as they used to. But if it's something that's meant to be hurtful, then that's a problem. There's nothing wrong with kind honesty, but if something is said to intentionally bring a person down or put doubt in their mind, then that's a serious problem. And that means that that person who's saying those destructive things is extremely insecure. And then they're taking their frustration, their fear out on that person, which is some bullshit. And that's never okay. What's coming through, beautiful? Or what's coming through for this beautiful being, Divine? They lost their psychic abilities because they misuse them constantly. You know what I'm getting here? They don't want them. They want you. Oh my God. When I saw the green card, I was like, this is about a third party. Because the two lovers in this situation are healers and positive beings, okay? So there's a third party that tried to insert themselves in this situation. And that's why Divine is saying, okay, first of all, what's coming through is that there is a third party here who tried to attack you and your relationship with psychic energy, with chaos, magic, okay? Because this is a person who completely lost their psychic abilities. So they did the most trying to attack you, all right? And they used their psychic energy trying to spy on you and your person, trying to create a wedge between you. And because they had such a grave misuse of their own psychic powers, they have lost them. They're no longer able to remote view. They're no longer able to get accurate answers from tarot readings. They're no longer able to, 3444 was just on the timer. So whatever third party situation has occurred here, you are protected. You are protected. They don't want them, they want you. Now, if this is a situation where you have felt abused and lied to, betrayed over and over, people have, you know, if you've been having to go get tested for STDs and stuff like that, then this is not your reading. But what's coming through in this reading is that Divine is saying that it's important to know that your person wants you, not them. Okay? There was interference here, but I'm seeing like a hammer, and it's like a person just kept working against someone's will. This is the united will of you and your person, and also this third party worked against your individual will and the individual will of your person. So in 3 ways they attacked you: against your will, your person's will, and your will together. The like bond of your union. Protect. Divine is saying to protect the energy of your self, okay? And of your home, family, marriage, if you're married, or your love relationship. And one important thing about protecting your bond, when you have this kind of energy between you, what's really important is to do the work on yourself that is needed. So you're not just in this relationship, you are an individual who still has individual needs. Okay, so continue to nurture yourself on your own time, in your own unique way, without your partner present. That's very important, and it helps you to maintain a sense of self. Don't ever lose yourself in a relationship, okay? Because in a healthy relationship, you will have time to nurture your own energy. The second thing is to do work with your lover, okay? Create happy memories. And it feels like whatever this third party situation was, it feels like that's the old-timey situation that was coming up. You remember in that vision I had? It's like whatever happened between you, which I know that this person came in like a wrecking ball, because they have lost their psychic powers. So they were doing the most. But it's very important to create new happy memories with your person, because that is going to help distance yourself and yourselves together as a pair from this past situation. It's like leaving it where it is and allowing yourselves to come into this present moment, to be in this present moment, creating a new, healthy, happy memory. And if trust is an issue, because it seems like with these cards that came through, like there are fears. Like you and your person more than likely didn't have the best childhood. I mean, if you did, you're extremely lucky. But if there were some gaps there, if there were some situations with parents that were not nurturing as they should have been, or that where there perhaps was some neglect or maybe even abuse, okay, which neglect is a form of abuse. But if that happened, then there is a need to learn to trust yourselves and trust one another as you are open and honest with each other about your fears. Yeah, just letting a person say to you what they're afraid of without judging them is a huge way to get this energy going of the talisman. To open up that key, which came through, that's really, not to be corny, but that's key. Because there are certain things that are going to open up this lock so that you're not afraid to love, and so that your person is not afraid to love. But there are reasons why you're afraid to love, both of you. There are reasons, and they're logical reasons, because fear doesn't just come from nowhere, okay? Even if the fear that you're feeling comes from a situation that happened years ago, whether it's in your childhood or a past relationship, it's logical to feel that fear. You're certainly not crazy for feeling it, okay? And fear is the reason why so many people do not end up in a healthy relationship, is because when we make choices involving love, marriage, children, home, family, finances based in fear, 40-40 on the timer. I mean, come on. You know, it's like not living in the vibe of protection, but living in the vibe of fear with that 4040. So there are definitely ways to unlock this right here so that you are both working together in a state of love and divinity. Thank you, Divine. What additional guidance is coming through for this beautiful being? Soul searching, growing together, and toxic love. So this is the thing, any love can turn toxic. You can have a healthy love, look, growing, because you're growing together, right? You're soul searching, you're growing together. Look, it's beautiful. 41-41 on the timer. And then bam, an argument about that past situation sets in and it feels toxic as hell, right? So that's the cycle that you want to break. Red flag, signs, evidence, cheating and deception, conflict resolution, okay? So if there has been a betrayal, more on this red flags, Divine. Push and pull, controlling, unbalanced, pride and ego, power struggles. Yeah, so what's the energy of this cheating? Divine, that's evident in this relationship. Chariot. Okay, so here's the thing. Divine is recommending moving beyond it. That's what's coming through. Moving beyond it. What is the actual energy of Page of Pentacles? King of Pentacles. Let me see something with this energies of affliction. Thank you, Spirit. What's coming through with this red flags? Deceptive alliances. So there is a third-party energy. Yeah, relationships or situations where people are aligned for selfish purposes, causing hidden harm or betrayal. So there has been spell work is backfiring. It's like there's energy here that wanted to bring destruction through deception. And so what I'm getting is that there is an appearance of betrayal and cheating that is much more profound than what it is in the 3D. That's what I'm getting. Now, it feels like, because if there was ever an alliance, let's say if your person had a previous marriage, then that person, that ex, can use the energetic pathways that were created during that marriage. If they weren't closed and cut and cleared, and especially if there are still children, then they could use that to create illusions. Okay? With the Chariot coming through for the red flags, it's like Divine is saying that it's something that can be moved beyond because you're beyond it. It doesn't feel like something that is... Now this is up to you. If you feel that you need to, yeah, psychic vampirism. A person intentionally or unintentionally zaps another's energy over time, often leaving the victim feeling mentally, emotionally, or physically drained. So it feels like there's a whole lot of deception here. And it feels like it's mainly done through the psychic realm. You know, spirit possession. Divine, what is the current state of these psychic ties? Or regarding the ties that were created due to these alliances. What is the current state of these alliances? Freedom. This feels like something that is from the past, and it was heavily impacted by illusions created with psychic energy. I know that Divine would not clarify the red flags card with the Chariot if it were not something that was supposed to be, if it wasn't something that was actually very trivial, but a person blew it up to make it look like a major betrayal, okay? And you have to decide what is major to you, okay? It's your life, and that's the beautiful thing. You get to decide. But what's coming through in this reading is that this King of Pentacles has faced a push and pull energy that resulted in toxic arguments with a Page of Pentacles. This Page of Pentacles wants an opportunity with that King of Pentacles. So there's somebody here who's very stable, very secure, but there's somebody who's upset that they're not getting this Page of, or this King of Pentacles time, energy, effort anymore. They're not the focus. Why? Because your person wants you, not them. Tell me more about this Page of Pentacles. Threshold. Yeah, they want this person to cross over into their realm. This is a person who was desperate, and they were using their intuition at the time with these raindrops here. They were using their water energy to try to invade into your realm and get past that threshold. But as you can see, they haven't crossed it. The rain is right in front of them. They have not crossed into that threshold. But it's because of psychic influences and illusions that they have projected that they're trying to make it seem like, oh, red flags. But what's really the case is that your person is not attached to them. They don't want them. They want you. So it's very clear to me as the reader that whoever this reading is for, there are outside influences who want to they want to turn a situation in their favor. But your person is coming through as free from toxic ties to this person, this Page of Pentacles, that's trying to get on the same level as the King of Pentacles. They want a union with them, okay? And with that in combination with all of the fears and the normal human things that we experience, it has caused difficulty. But if this is a love that you desire, then you can manifest it with focus. With focus and with protection, okay? So very important steps. Also, you know, I always recommend, like, in situations like this, if there's a need to talk it out, to get either individual therapy or couples counseling, something like that, where you can talk about these things with someone who can help you. Also remember that not all therapists are helpful, and not all therapy, you have to find one that's good for you, a good fit. But it can be very helpful to talk out some of these things with the help of a person who is not biased, okay? What recommendation is coming through from Spirit? Loyalty, look at that. So there's somebody here who wants you to see your world as being invaded by third parties, but truly, there's freedom and loyalty here. And so with all of these projections of a lack of loyalty and cheating and all of that, that could cause additional fear. You know, what's coming to mind is like a person who puts things in a person's ear, like, let's say if there's a third party who is trying to make themselves a third party, that's really what it feels like. It's like they're not really a third party because there was nothing done that was done out of disrespect to your union by your person. Now, the person who wants to be a third party was definitely doing stuff. But it's like, let's say if this third party wants to cause chaos in a relationship and they start a rumor that they slept with your person. Well, that has nothing to do with your person. That's something that this person got going in order to insert themselves in your world. You see what I'm saying? But what's coming through here is loyalty. Fragment. There have been fragments created because, look, I'm getting fragments of lies, fragments of stories. I'm seeing this as kind of like a whisper in the air. You know? Psst, 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 psst. Getting rumors going that then get back to you. And then before you know it, it's looking like this. And it shouldn't. You know? It shouldn't look like that. It can look like, where was that other card? It was growing together. Yeah, look, growing together and conflict resolution. You know? And hopefully growing together so strong so that when these whispers do take place, or when people do put things out there to make it seem like something's going on, you're not even bothered because the trust is so strong. And so that's really what's needed, is to strengthen the trust and do whatever you can to block out the energy of these wannabe third parties, if there are several. Definitely could be. Oh, I want to pull from here and see what's coming through just to close the reading. Thank you, Spirit. Oh, look, peace. What else about this love, Divine? What's coming through for this beautiful being regarding their love? Peace again. Look, strength. And strength that carries you beyond these. Look, it's obsession and moving on. Look at that. Because there are third parties, or there is a third party who has lost their psychic abilities because they were doing so much, too much. You're moving on. Because that third party is not even an issue. And you're able to rest because you have boundaries. Okay? You might experience a retreat with one another. And you're paying attention to each other. denying anyone else access to your union. Okay? Look, enjoying your divine counterpart. Okay? Enjoying your divine counterpart. Whew, this reading worked me. I hope it was helpful. Oh, I hope it was helpful. I am so grateful that you joined me for this reading, beautiful being. Thank you so much for tuning in. I hope that it brought you some peace, some insight, and some clarity, and some good vibes. And I love you, and I wish you peace. I wish you joy, and so many blessings. Take care.